All right. How you doing? I'm Greg Russell. This is Jerry Franklin Poe, and we are Technology Tuesday, your hosts. We got an awesome show set up for you guys today. We can't wait to share with you some of the things that's going on today on Technology Tuesday. So with that, if you're catching us live in the comments, please put hashtag live and where you're tuning in from. And if you are catching us on a replay, hashtag replay and let us know where you're tuning in from. With that, we're going to dive right into it because we got a lot to cover and some things you definitely need to know about. So we're going to set it off right now.
All right. It's Tuesday, 2 p.m. So you know what time it is. Time for Technology Tuesday. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are here bringing you practical knowledge, practical applications. So you can have practical solutions for your business. And today is probably one of those practical solution days because there have been some challenges in the marketplace. So it's not like it's breaking news. It's not like we're uncovering some type of conspiracy, but there's a lot of people who've been having some challenges when it comes to their online presence. And, this is one of those things where it's the good and the bad, the pluses and the minuses when it comes to technology and how we can sometimes take things for granted until they disappear.
That is correct. And so, if you're not aware, this morning, one of the most popular DNS systems that manage hundreds of thousands of websites had issues, causing those hundreds of thousands of websites not to be able to be accessed, including OpenAI and X, formerly Twitter, right? So those are two of the popular ones that you couldn't access this morning. So far, things seem to be back up, but it was down for over an hour this morning, and then it took several hours for everything to fully be operational again. And because we host most of our sites using Cloudflare, all of our sites were down for a little bit as well. And this was nothing in our control. It's just the things that how it works were down. And so we rely on Cloudflare and proper DNS setup so that things can be connected and you can access those sites. But sometimes things happen, and so we're going to talk about it today. So Jerry, I don't know if what did you find out because I told you, or did you figure it out somehow else?
No, I knew it before you told me. I got the email. I don't know. Like, so having kids in school, you get early emails. Like you get early phone calls. Like if there's being in Pennsylvania, we have weather, right? So we get like phone calls at 5 o'clock in the morning that the school is going to be delayed, canceled, whatever. So because a lot of the stuff that the schools use, right, the school district uses, had Cloudflare access, right? So the technology person, the head technology person from the school had sent out an announcement. They're like, hey, all these things are down. So they're giving us the heads up as parents, and as because they keep everybody in the loop. It's all in the same like system. They call it. It's like a way for you to communicate with people. So I knew probably like 8 7 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, oh, what's this message about? And it was like that Cloudflare was down. I think you got in touch with me a few hours later.
Yeah, my first notification came through at 7:37 Central. So that's 8:37 Eastern, and yeah, we got started getting multiple notifications after that. So that's the first notification. Um, but I actually didn't realize what was going on until I tried to go onto a site, and then it just kept spinning. And then as I went try to other sites, the same thing. It would not actually load. So yeah, Cloudflare was down this morning, affected millions of sites, and sometimes those things happen. And so Cloudflare is a system that manages DNS. And so what I'm going to do, for those who don't know what DNS is, I'm going to spend a few minutes and break it down to you so that you understand. I'm going to give it to you in applesauce so that you don't have to chew it. You can just swallow it and taste it and know it. Make it very simple and easy for you guys to understand. And before I do that, I got a special announcement today. At the time of our broadcast, Tuesday, November 18th, we are having a special training with the world sales expert, Eric Lofholm, and he will be sharing with us how to increase our sales for our business. So, listen, if you have a product, service, or anything where you're trying to exchange that for money, then what you want to do is make sure your sales process and your sales strategy is as tight and as pristine as possible so that you can generate the most money from your efforts. And so, because of my relationship with Eric, we are having a special training, free training from the world's number one sales expert. So, if you have not registered, you can go to sevenfigurepath.com/sales and register for free. And it is today at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, in just a few hours, we will be joining together with Eric, and he will be sharing some things that can help you with sales. So, again, at sevenfigurepath.com/sales. Make sure you register and attend. All right. And if you can't attend today live, then make sure you register so that you can get the replay. So if you want to see it and you can't be there live, register so that you can get the replay. All right, cool. So, Jerry, let me ask you this question. We'll throw you under the hot seat. DNS, from your understanding, and it's okay if you don't know, what is it? Because we throw around these these letters and these terms, and a lot of people, lots of times, don't know.
Do I know what the actual acronym stands for? No.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
But DNS is like I would say it's like the address or the codes that you put in to make sure the page that you have, your actual website, wherever it's being like hosted, it all connects together. So everything is like pointing to the right place.
Yes,
And I
sir.
don't want to say it's like forwarding, but it's almost like your mailing address. Like you have your location, but the post office has to know where to bring the stuff.
Exactly. All right. So let's dive into it. So I'm going to pull up this presentation right quick. We should be able to see it right about now, and we'll bring it full screen. All right. Cool. So, Jerry, everything that DNS has to do with nope, that's not full screen. Hold on one second. Boom. Now we're full screen. Has to do with links and emails. And if you are trying to do anything on the internet that brings you money, then you need to understand what DNS is, because it all affects your links, which is your website, how people get there, and your emails. So, domain. Everything starts with a domain. Like, domains are the roads to the internet. It's how you get everywhere. For you to be here today, you had to put in some domain. For you to see this, no matter where you are, you either put in facebook.com and viewing us on Facebook, your youtube.com and viewing us on YouTube, whatever it is you put in. For you to see this presentation, whether live or replay, you had to put in a domain. And the domain is the foundation of the internet. It's how you get anywhere and everywhere. Okay. So with that, domain name is broken down into several things. You have your DNS, which is your domain name system. That's what DNS stands for. It's very simple. It's just domain name system. And within that system, you have name servers, and those name servers produce records, right? You don't have to remember what any of those are, but we're going to show you how they work so you can grasp a full understanding. So when it comes to a domain name, they have three parts. You have a subdomain. The most popular subdomain ever is www, okay? And then you have what's called the second level domain, which is the name. And then you have the top level domain, which is the .com, and it could be quite a few things. It could be .org, .net, those were the popular three, when the internet first came out. But now there's all sorts of things. There's .tv, there's .ai, there's .io, there's almost anything you could think of, .club, right? So you have a whole lot of those, what they call top level domains. What I want to say here is that the reason why www was the most popular subdomain was because when they first came out with the internet, if you think of a network of computers, not all the network included access outside of that network, right? And so when people created these domain names at the very beginning, if they were going to go outside of the network, they put it on a subdomain so they knew that it could reach outside the network, or outside the network could reach the location. And so www, for those who don't know, stands for World Wide Web, meaning that subdomain would be able to access by the World Wide Web. And so that's where www came from, and that's why a lot of people are today a little bit confused about whether to use it or not use it. It's technically not needed today, but if you think of it as, hey, this is a subdomain, and when we talk about it in just a second, you'll understand how you can use other subdomains in place of www to do some really cool things with your website. So, Jerry, this is what you were going to talk about. When it comes to a domain name, it is assigned to an IP address, and most people aren't going to remember IP addresses, which is a bunch of random numbers and dots. But you can remember example.com or yourname.com or google.com, and they will basically, that browser will then use that domain name to pull in a DNS server, which will pull in the web server, which brings you the website. So the domain name uses a IP address to bring you the actual website on your browser. So Jerry, any questions you have about that before we move forward? Is that all clear, or is there anything I miscommunicated?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool. So domain name system. Let's break this down just so you can understand. So when you have a website, right? The first thing you do is your name servers. This is what you set on your, when you purchase a domain, when you typically purchase it, they will automatically be set typically for that that domain register's name servers. And these are the things that you typically change if you had a hosting site, so that your website domain name can point to your actual host. So if you had a host on any other service, they would say, hey, change our name servers to point to these name servers so we could bring up the website. So the name servers are which basically get used to pull up the DNS records. Okay, so these DNS records are the most. There's several types of records. There's an A record, an MX record, a text record, a CNAME record, and an SPF. You don't have to remember what any of these things mean at this moment, but just know that these records control whether someone hits a domain name, whether they go to a website, or if it has the @ sign, it goes to your email server, right? And so these are the records that are created by a name server. Okay, so the A record points you to an IP address, which brings up the website. MX is your mail exchange, and those are how you deal with email. And a CNAME record is your subdomain. So you can actually have your website hosted at one place and use a CNAME record, a subdomain, to pull up something completely different, right? So we have A records, which is IP address, CNAME, subdomain, MX records, mail exchange. So as long as you know that you can have access to these records, you can control these things when you need it. And more importantly, more than ever, now with all these services that allow you to update, and they will give you the CNAMEs, they will give you the subdomains so that you can point different things to your website. If you have access to this and you know that it's there, then you are more in control of being able to update these records so that you can create different things. So CNAME record, again, is subdomain. So for a perfect example, you know what google.com is. If you go to google.com, you expect to see, a place for you to search. But if you put in maps.google.com, you're going to come up with a map. It's a completely different thing, but it's also on google.com. Same thing with calendar.google. It'll pull up your calendar if you're logged in. And drive.google will bring up your Google Drive if you're logged in. So these are how subdomains allow you to have something on your site, but have something completely different for you to be able to set up or use on your site. So CNAMEs are subdomains, and this is how you can set them up. So if you just remember that your CNAME will allow you to point your website traffic to a completely different server if needed. Jerry, does that make sense to you? Is that clear?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool, man. I thought this would break it down for people. So MX records tell you where email servers, where to route email replies. So, if you have Google Workspace, you update your MX records to point to the records that Google gives you. And the same thing with Office 365, right? Boom, MX records. And so what Cloudflare does, and why so many people use it, is that Cloudflare makes managing these DNS records quick and easy. So typically, your name servers that you get with your domain registrar, if you have access to update DNS, not all registrars allow you to do this, some do. But if you're able to and you make a change, they will typically tell you you have to wait between up to 24 hours before that change to take place. So the one thing that Cloudflare did, and as someone who builds websites and deals with this, the last thing you want to do is make a change and then have to wait for 24 hours to see if it works. Because if it didn't work, you'd have to make another change and wait what? Another 24 hours. So this was just way too long for those of us in the industry to have to wait for to see if the DNS changes work. We wanted to know, hey, did this work? So Cloudflare allows you to make these changes and they will produce the changes for you within 5 minutes, not up to 24 hours like most of the registrars. So that was the first thing that attracted a lot of us to use Cloudflare to manage the DNS was the speed. The second thing it did was it gave you an extra level of security. So when you add security on the DNS level, the security gets blocked before it even can get to your site. So you don't have to have certain plugins or certain protection on the site itself because it's blocked before it can actually get there. So think of it like a gated community, like a private gated community. You have that extra layer of protection because people can't come just up to your house because they have to go through the security to at least get into the neighborhood to get to your house. So that was the other thing that Cloudflare did was it gave us this protection. So we had the speed, we had the protection, and Cloudflare does all of that for free, right? They have their free services, and then they allow you to upgrade if you want some advanced services too. In addition to protection, what it also gave us was the ability to protect your email address. So if you have a website where you list your email address, like contact us at, right, or here's our email address if you want to contact us. A lot of times that would get picked up by bots and you would get a lot of spam. And so what it does is it allows you to put your email address on your website and it only will show it to, humans. It won't show it to bots and allow it to get picked up by those bots. The other thing, Jerry, the last thing protection that it did was it allows you to protect your image hosting. So like typically if you'd go to a website and you get you right click on it, you could actually get the image of an you could get the URL of an image on a web page, and then you could actually take that URL and put it in your code so that you can show that same image, and they protect you from doing that as well. So Cloudflare was a very powerful service that allows you to have all of this protection on and all of this speed for your DNS. And for most of it, it's free. For a lot of people, use it for free, and then you can also upgrade to enterprise level security if you need it, and they have a whole lot of other features as well. So that's why so much of the internet relies on Cloudflare. And when that DNS broke or they had issues delivering the traffic, all the websites stopped working because the DNS wouldn't allow people to get to the websites because of the issues they were having. So that is Cloudflare, why we use it, why it's always recommended. It allows you to make changes up and stuff very quickly. And so to do that, you would just update your name servers in Cloudflare, and then you could control all of your DNS through Cloudflare. Okay. So that is Cloudflare and how it helps us and why we use it in a quick, simple, powerful, but important lesson on DNS. Because everything you do from your emails to your website has to go through DNS. And so if you know about it, you are not now stuck in the dark trying to ask your web developer or your team about why stuff isn't working, because now you know. My friend, what you think?
No, I mean, you're good. For those who didn't know, for those who like, because again, if you're new to this, and I remember a couple years ago when I was trying to understand like subdomains and how to have stuff point to other stuff. Uh, it I wouldn't say it was confusing, but it was just like if you don't know, you don't know. It's just like if something like it's like writing a check. Like so, people who didn't grow up around checkbooks, they don't know how to fill out what a check looks like. So it's just the same thing here. It's like it's simple once you get an understanding of it, but if you didn't know it or somebody else was doing it for you, it could go over your head.
Yes, sir. Cool. So we got Black Friday coming up. Everybody's going to be having deals. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you some deals that I see coming up that you may want to look at. And guess who's having some Black Friday sales? Our friends over at AppSumo. So boom, we have, if you go there, right, they're dropping deals. And the next one, if you're on with us live, in 18 hours, and they have their Black Friday AppSumo deals. You can go check them out. So I will talk about a couple of them just so you know. Um, this one, the subscriber is back, and this helps you use AI to create the descriptions and titles and give you ideas for your YouTube channel. This is one that I really like, and so I have it. And so if you want to grab some of the stuff that I got, then you want to check out Subscriber. It's Subscriber with an R, no ER. Okay, so that's Subscriber. And also RoboMotion. This is one that allows you to set up automation inside of your website. It is back again for the Black Friday deals. And so those are two that you can grab. I don't know, Jerry, if you looked at any of these others. I know we looked at Meeting at one time, but I didn't grab it, but it is there. Deposit Photos has been back. Deposit Photos has been there for a few years. And I think we grabbed it back in the day. And if I remember correctly, it was purchased by Vistaprint. Yes, sir. So anyway, those are the
And
ones. Yeah, go ahead.
photo GPT is back as well.
This one.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Remember the one I used to do headshots?
Okay.
It, so you can feed it pictures of yourself and then create your own I don't know what you call it, avatar or model. You
Okay.
create a model for yourself. You feed it like
Okay.
fit 10 or 15 pictures.
Okay. Yes. Yep. So that's back there again. They will be dropping some new deals, but there are some there. So if you missed out on some, now is the time to keep an eye out on AppSumo so that you can maybe find some of the ones that you possibly have missed. So make sure you keep an eye on AppSumo and those deals that you might have missed out on. They may be back for a Black Friday special. So with that, man, I want to thank you for tuning in for another episode. Jerry, any last thoughts you have for us for today?
And I think we're good.
All right. Well, then make sure you guys tune in next week. We have another exciting episode lined up for you guys. I may have a special guest. If everything works out, we will have a special guest lined up for you guys. Make sure you join us at the group at technologytuesday.com. And if you have any questions, hit us up and we'll be more than happy to help. So make sure to tune in and we will talk to you guys again next week. Take care.